Ooh-wee. Well, amid the buzz surrounding Baldur's Gate, this has been a story that's, has gone completely off the rails. I went through the Baldur's Gate sales figures. I offered a different perspective on the contrary to the popular belief that the game was a top-selling game of 2023. I challenged that aspect. Well, what's the background of this game? Well, Larian Studios collaborated with Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro to create Baldur's Gate 3. They own the rights to the game, the Dungeons & Dragons rule set they brought forward. So they integrated the Dungeons & Dragons system into the Baldur's Gate game and the branding for the game. Now, however, recent departures from Wizards of the Coast for the layoffs highlighted the value of these team members when the Larian CEO came forward and said the room was very empty. He basically said there's no one left. There's no one left that helped us create this game. In response to my video, a lot of disapproval surfaced, notably from Baldur's Gate 3 fans and a very prominent YouTuber by the name of Sid Alpha, subscribed by 120,000 people almost. And, this is open discourse. It's enriching, but at the same time, there was criticisms that were brought up by Vera Dark on Twitter about people being snowflakes and the response of this. It brought up a lot of concerns about how rabid the fans for Baldur's Gate 3 is, and I have seen it by buttloads. I've done several videos on Baldur's Gate 3, and every video is met with this disapproval and this response that literally sits there and gets people up in arms. Everyone likes their game, but at the same time, the amount of response to this has been overwhelming. My video delved into whether Baldur's Gate 3 met Hasbro's financial expectations. Even though Hasbro is only the background, they're the backdrop of this. They're not sitting there propping Larian Studios up, trying to get them to do things, but they are lending their name, their branding, and the Dungeons & Dragons rule set. But given that the lack of concrete sales data is beyond inconsistent with third-party estimates, it's very understanding why people would be up in arms and they're going to believe one thing or another. I challenge this notion. It raises the questions about Baldur's Gate 3's momentum and the uncertain future that Baldur's Gate brand, specifically post Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast layoffs. So, why do I have a fixation on the numbers? Well, it's driven out of curiosity. Despite Baldur's Gate being hailed as Game of the Year, winning awards as Game of the Year, and a plethora of third-party tellers or third-party trackers trying to say the game has reported 22 million in sales, although these sales are never really accurate. On top of that, it's been brought up that Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have microtransactions, but several other games this year, namely Lies of P, Hogwarts Legacy, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield, they all lacked the microtransactions as well, and Hogwarts alone placed at the top spot without the recognition they deserve of that. The industry focusing on Game of the Year seems influenced by journalists shaping narratives, overshadowing broader industry settlements like ongoing legal disputes over microtransactions, which Epic Games has found out from the FTC were made illegal, or at least the settlement has gone forward over Fortnite and Rocket League. I believe the time for you to gain your money back from these certain things have come and gone. I believe it was at the start of December. I did cover that in detail. Hasbro's stake in Baldur's Gate 3 success is clear, reflecting on Magic the Gathering theme set in 2022, with direct cash injection into Baldur's Gate 3 may not be evident, but the brand vitality impacts other Hasbro products. Financing for the game might stem from various sources, including remnants of Divinity Sin, Tencent's 30% stake into Larian Studios, or even the crowdfunding via the early access from Steam even though that's against their platform guidelines. Well, thanks to insights from this community and a channel member, it was revealed that Baldur's Gate completion figures of 1.3 million users had completed the game in early December. This is potentially translating to approximately 7.5 million copies of the game has been sold. That is for Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox combined 1.3 million users completing it and gaining the achievement All Wells That Ends Well. Quite simply, you can take that 17% approximately of people that have completed the game, do the reverse math of it. So 1.3 divided by 0.17 gives you how many users actually own the game. Now, there's a lot of dormant users at the same time, so at this point I would say 8 million users have purchased this game. That's not a lot. That's not nearly the 15 million plus Hogwarts Legacy that just came out on the Nintendo Switch and continues to play today. But in essence, Hasbro's involvement extends beyond finances, influencing the Baldur's Gate brand trajectory. The game's performance might not align with anticipated financial returns of the brand's future, leaving a myriad of unanswered questions akin to tracing a perfect snowflake on a Christmas day in the gaming landscape. Honestly, with Sid Alpha sitting there making a video saying I have to hold up the merit and the pillar about how Hasbro laid off the staff for Wizards of the Coast. The staff being laid off from Wizards of the Coast is something I spoke about a month ago, easily. How layoffs were coming to this company. I didn't expect it to actually hit Baldur's Gate, and with it only being, saying 8 million sales in there, that's not a lot of money left over. When it sells for about $450 million, you have 100 million lead in there, and a company that's only sitting at approximately 100 million revenue each year, the money has to come from somewhere. Hasbro may not have put up money into it, but they sure brought everything else. And by them taking away the valued members that worked alongside Larian, you really have to question what happened here. Anyway, with this video and everything else on it, I gotta say, everything I've seen is absolutely disheartening with the way everyone is willing to just jump at a conclusion after reading an estimated number. Let's put it this way. If you don't like what I got here, you can go trace a snowflake. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix Cinder Shadow. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe to the channel, especially after Sid Alpha went to the trouble of making his absolute banger of a video for me just to say I'm wrong, because everything I've seen, the numbers that I have add up to what I got. You can believe the estimates, or you can go off the achievements, or we can go off the revenue that they made. Which do you want? Because it all can be correlated in one way or another. And it seems that this game, Baldur's Gate 3, is not in the top 10 at all for 2023. Give it a few more months, maybe it'll get there. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great day.